Good morning, Barstow. I'm Jonah.
And I'm Clara. We'll be right back to the first episode of December.
Wait a minute. It's December? Great Scott! My time machine worked!
Welcome back, everyone. Jonah, how was your Thanksgiving break?
My break was pretty good. I had my in-town family of about 25 people over for Thanksgiving, and then I went Black Friday shopping that same night. It was pretty busy, but it was pretty fun. How about you?
I went Black Friday shopping as well, and
Cool.
then we also had a great Thanksgiving.
Awesome.
Not many people, but it was still good. I don't know if you remember, but last Tuesday, we had the Thanksgiving ceremony. It featured songs from the kindergarten and 3rd and 4th grade choirs, interspersed with poetry readings from the 8th graders and a selection from the instrumental ensemble. At the end of the program, the entire school joined together for a song that we had learned earlier in the day. It was an inspirational start to our Thanksgiving holiday.
That's awesome. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving break. But can you believe we only have 2 weeks of school left?
It's crazy, and there is so much going on before we all leave for our winter break. So let's move on to some of those things. Next week will be the winter concerts for lower school on Tuesday night and for the middle and upper school on Thursday night. Both begin at 7 p.m.
The American Mathematical Competition will be held on Tuesday, February 3rd from 8 o'clock to 9:30. If you are interested in participating, make sure to let your math teacher know by December 3rd or talk to Ms. Pagano directly.
Now that our basketball teams are getting underway, let's head to Rachel Rip for this week's Sports Roundup.
Come and get it.
Boys and girls varsity basketball begins their seasons tomorrow at home. Girls varsity play Cristo Rey at 6, and boys varsity play St. Pius at 7:30. These games will also be live streamed. The girls basketball team will be on the road this Thursday to play Schlegel, and the boys will travel to Park Hill South. Lastly, on Saturday, the boys basketball team will host Scott Catholic at 2:30 p.m. That's all for sports news this week. Back to you guys in the studio.
So Rachel, how do you think this year's basketball season is going to go?
I think that both teams are looking good this season. I hope the boys can go back to state and hopefully win this year.
Awesome. Thanks, Rachel. If you are a freshman wanting to apply for Carrie Ascentes, the deadline has been pushed back to this Wednesday, December 3rd at 3:15. Don't forget to give your teacher time for the recommendation. If you have any questions, direct them to Miss Croggett or Miss Bartow.
A few weeks ago, the 7th graders took a field trip to Konza Prairie. Here's a piece by Libby Rohr about their experience.
On September 10th, the 7th graders traveled to the Konza Prairie in Manhattan, Kansas for a fun-filled day in nature.
I'm a Kansas girl, so I went to K-State for my undergraduate degree, and I remember a couple times being out on Konza Prairie just on the public hiking trails, and I thought that they were a lot of fun. And I have a friend of mine that I went to some workshops with that teaches in Lawrence, and she told me about this workshop at Konza Prairie. Every year they take a handful of teachers and they ask them to come up there, and you spend a week on the prairie. Each day they had great activities that we got to be engaged in, and they were all things that the students do when you bring your students out there. But one of the things that we did that I liked the best was the grasshopper inventory.
I really appreciated about the Konza trip that so many of the students, when we told them they would be walking into a field of tall prairie grass filled with grasshoppers, had the normal middle school response of, "Ew, bugs, that's disgusting." By the end, they were really into it. They loved catching the grasshoppers, studying them, investigating, and I think Mrs. Holmes just did a really good job of setting them up for success.
One of the goals of our 7th grade team is to come together and do more collaborative projects, and we came up with the idea to create some poetry, some sensory poetry to go along with the experience out at Concept. We took a walk up what is called Butterfly Hill, and it takes you to the top of the prairie and gives you a fabulous view, just kind of out, and you feel like you really have moved back in time. They sat for a few moments with their writing journals and actually spent about 15 to 20 minutes writing about the experience. We then brought those notes back to class, and then the next week, Mr. Woolden and I had them use those notes to create a variety of different poems. And we put those all together into this really cool project. We took some clippings of wildflowers when we were out on the prairie, and Mrs. Holmes worked with the kids to press the flowers. We also then did, in science class, we did some identification, so they had to go through the process of looking in field guides and identifying the flowers that they collected.
One of the things that struck me so much about this project is, as one who comes from central Kansas and who really likes the prairie, seeing the prairie used not just for scientific reasons, but then also taking inspiration from the prairie, just sort of made my heart jump a little bit. I think that oftentimes in our praise of STEM, we also forget the A, which is art. And so I think this does a good job of doing both of those things, because both of those things are important.
Thanks, Libby. Before we leave you today, let's head over to Shay Rush for the weather.
Look, my squad half man Trill, half Mandela. My band about 70 strong, just like fella. Yeah.
Hey folks, we had some pretty nice and warm weather over the break. Let's go ahead and look and see if this first week of December is going to be just as nice. Today, it's going to be cold. Partly cloudy skies and not much more than that. But on Tuesday, it's going to be a bluebird, my favorite. And it's also basketball's first home game, so make sure you come out and check that out. And then on Wednesday, we're going to have partly cloudy skies, a high of 44. On Thursday, we're going to have some wintry mix. You might see some snow, you might see some rain, you might just see clouds. I'm not really sure. It's also going to be another basketball game, so make sure you come on out. And on Friday, we'll see maybe some drizzle in the area. On Saturday, we have the school dance. It's also going to be a high of 50. It's going to be mostly sunny skies. It's going to be a good one. And then on Sunday, we'll see highs in the mid-50s. It's going to be crazy. Maybe some rain as well. But for December, it's going to be warm, ladies and gentlemen, so enjoy it. And that's your weekly weather. I'm Shay Rush. Now back to you guys in the studio.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, Kieran. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good? Pretty
Yeah.
good? All right. Well, for day 3 today, you know it's flu season, right?
Yeah.
You know, so there's lots of germs out there, and I just want to make sure you guys are, you know, sufficiently protected.
Aw.
So I got you guys 3 whole bottles of Purell.
My gosh, thanks, Kieran.
You're welcome.
That is so awesome of you.
Yeah, it's not scented, you know, because I didn't know if you guys had a preferred scent. But, you know.
This is perfect. Thanks, Kieran.
You're welcome.
I
You're
love
welcome.
it.
This makes my Monday.
Good. You're welcome.
Well, that's all we have for you guys today. I'm Jonah.
And I'm Clara. Have a great day, Barstow.